We're gonna win, Twins, we're gonna score. We're gonna win, Twins, watch that baseball soar. Crack out a home run, shout a hip hooray. Cheer for the Minnesota Twins today.
Hi everyone, Jim Bartles here once again from Fort Myers, another one of our broadcasts from Spring Training 2018. Dave St. Peter, president of Minnesota Twins, is with us, and we've had the pleasure of being able to talk to Dave for several years in a row, and gives us some good straight answers to a lot of fun questions. So we've got some ready to go again, and we'll start out right now. Dave, first of all, the easy one. Everybody's unbeaten going into the regular season, but your thoughts on this year's Twins roster and the chances for success?
Well, first, welcome. It's great to see you and everybody back down here in Fort Myers as we get ready for the 2018 season. So we're excited. I think that, the 2017 season was a turnaround year for our club on the field. It was also a year of transition off the field as Derek Falvey and Thad Levine really built out infrastructure around what we think is the foundation to a long-term period of success. But as we come into 2018, now expectations are higher. And I think what's great for the Twins and our fans is not only do we have a young core, a nucleus that we think is going to do special things, but we've been able to add to that. We've been able to address areas of need, our bullpen, our starting pitching. And I think that we go into the season with the addition of Logan Morrison having one of the better offensive clubs in the American League. All of that's on paper. We haven't played a game yet. We haven't lost a game. We haven't won a game. But I think we all have great confidence that 2018 is going to be another fun season for the Twins.
There were a couple changes on the coaching staff,
Yep.
and maybe just a little comment about that.
Well, we added Derek Shelton as our bench coach. Derek comes to us with a wealth of experience, most recently in Toronto, but also had been the hitting coach down at Tampa. Tremendous organizational skills. I think he's going to be really helpful to Paul Molitor. I think Paul will tell you that. And is going to help us in a lot of different areas of our organization. Beyond that, Garvin Alston joins us as a first-time Major League pitching coach. Comes to us most recently from the Oakland Athletics organization, and Garvin is a guy that's going to grow in this job. Admittedly, it's people might watch, why didn't they hire a more experienced person? We interviewed a lot of different folks. We thought Garvin was the right fit for the Twins, and we think he has a special way of connecting with young pitchers. And that's going to be important in Minnesota as we try to ultimately build an organization that's founded on the development of young arms coming to Minnesota and having success.
I mentioned before we started today, I've got a couple of questions that I think a lot of fans are wondering about, so I'm going to get to the first one right now, and that's, all right, you already mentioned, new GM, new VP last year, All-Star break. Oh boy, unfortunately, we had a rough road right after the All-Star break, but before then, we were buyers, and then all of a sudden we turned into sellers. And it appears the team said, "The heck with those guys. We're still going to make the playoffs," and they did.
Yeah, if we'd have known that, we'd have traded some guys before that, right? No, it's easy to go back and look at that and understand it. But you got to remember, we went through a really horrible stretch after the All-Star break. In addition to that, I think Cleveland, Kansas City, and maybe another team won a combined 25 games in a row. I mean, it was unbelievable. So we were finding ourselves, frankly, fading, and we were a distant third in the American League Central. So as you take a look at it and understand where we were, knowing that we're trying to build an organization here for the long haul, I think we thought at the time that the right move for the Twins was to try to move a couple assets to get young, controllable pitching. And over time, history will judge whether that was the right move or not based on the guys we got back in those trades, guys we feel very, very strongly about. But I do think our club, our team, to Paul Molitor, our coaching staff, Brian Dozier, Joe Mauer, and a host of other guys, I think that they did take it upon themselves to go out and no excuses. We're still going to do what we can to get to postseason play. And obviously history will show that they were able to do that. We were able to do that as an organization. So it's a fair question. People might say, what would have happened differently had you kept those guys? That's fair. We'll never know. I'm not sure it would have made any difference at the end of the day. I'm not sure that either one of those guys would have stemmed the tide in New York at Yankee Stadium. But I think we made the move. I think it was the right move for the Twins. And again, long term, we're going to need more pitching, and that's what those moves were about.
I've never seen so many spring training moves in a spring training that I've been around. And so as you talk about Falvey and Levine, all right, well, they got Odorizzi. This is nice. And then a surprise, we got Logan Morrison, and gosh, we heard they were trying to do a 2-year contract with this guy by the name of Lynn. Okay, well, we go on. We're okay. And all of a sudden, holy smokes, Lynn gets signed as well. They did quite a job here on the late part of the free agent season.
Yeah, I give Derek and Thad a lot of credit. I think we were patient. We had a plan going into the offseason. We wanted to address pitching. We were looking ultimately for a way to help our offense as well. But, we had to move early. The free agent market dictated that relief pitchers were coming off the board, and we ultimately were able to add 3 great arms there: Fernando Rodney, Addison Reed, and Zach Duke. And then beyond that, I think the starting pitching market obviously evolved. Everybody knows we made a run at Yu Darvish. It didn't work out. We were able to make a trade for Jake Odorizzi and then ultimately Lance Lynn. And we took advantage, I suppose, on some levels. The free agent market, the way it played out, allowed us maybe to get a couple guys that maybe we didn't think were going to be in play early on. I think both of those guys, both Lance Lynn and Logan Morrison, are examples of that. And the good news for us is they're here. They're happy to be here in Minnesota. They're thrilled to be playing at Target Field, and I think they're going to be huge contributors to the 2018 Twins.
Anything new that we're going to see this year? There always seems to be some adjustment, some change.
Yeah, there has been obviously a lot of change over the 8 years we've been at Target Field. This will be our 9th season, which is hard to believe. This year, a major off-season project, complete renovation of what had been the Metropolitan Club is now going to be known as Bat and Barrel. It's basically been gutted. We started over. We ended up adding operable glass windows to open that space to the playing field. And maybe more importantly than anything else, it's going to be open now to all fans. So every fan that comes to Target Field will be able to access that space. It's going to be spectacular. It'll be a walking history of the Twins, but done in a way that I think is that fans of all ages are going to love. And then beyond that, we also were able to add square footage to the main concourse in the right field corner. It's always been kind of a pinch point, particularly for ingress and egress, and I think we've been able to rectify that, adding quite a bit of concourse space there that's going to make that experience coming into the ballpark or leaving the ballpark better for all fans. We added a tap wall there in the corner. We're excited to show those off on April 5th at our home opener.
And the Bat and Ball, where's that located again?
Bat and Barrel is located in the right field corner, was the space formerly known as the Metropolitan Club.
Okay, all right, real good. What about food? Any special new promotions, any special new foods this year?
We got all kinds of new foods coming, and we're going to unveil them all on March 30th. So I'll just tell you that, we continue to see the food at Target Field. Obviously, there's a high standard there. It's one of the key drivers in terms of our view of the way people kind of view their experience. And, whether it be over the years Kamarchek's or Murray's or Red Cow or Four Bells, we've had a number of great local brands, and that will be no different in 2018. We're going to add a few new ones, both in Bat and Barrel as well as throughout the ballpark. And stay tuned on March 30th. We're going to unveil that lineup.
Our friend Ron Gardenhire is back managing in our division.
Yeah.
I think we all got to say, well, that's good for Ron and way to go.
Yeah, I think that's the way everybody feels in the Upper Midwest. Ron Gardenhire, a great Twin, one of the wonderful ambassadors of our game. I think he connects with Main Street, Minnesota better than anybody. And now he's got another chance to manage in the big leagues after being a year as a bench coach out with the Diamondbacks, a really good year in Arizona. I know Gardy's excited. It's the Tigers are in a little different spot. They're going through a rebuild, and I think Gardy had a lot of experience dealing with young players in Minnesota. And I think he'll bring the right leadership and ultimately the right chemistry to the Tigers. And I have mixed feelings about him being in our division because as much as I like seeing him, I'm not eager to have to play against him over 18, 19 times over the course of the season.
Santana, our ace pitcher, last year, what a great job. He really got things going for us start of the year. All of a sudden, we get through the winter, and right at the very start of spring training, basically, and he has to have surgery on a finger. Everybody's wondering, why didn't get taken care of earlier?
Yeah, fair question. And Irvin, we were aware of it. He had some issues with it last season, and Irvin had a couple different doctor's appointments at the end of the season, so he was looked at, and the medical view of it at the time was that he should be able to overall rehab this, and obviously surgery is always generally a last result. It's not ever the default position, particularly for a pitcher on his pitching hand. So, the decision ultimately was made after he started to warm up for this year that that surgery might be the best course. So it's not an exact science, and I think the good news for us is the way our schedule sets up. I don't think Irvin's loss in the month of April is going to be a huge setback, particularly now with the additions of Odorizzi and Lynn. I think we can overcome that, and we should get a fresh Irvin Santana come about May 1st, which hopefully positions him to be stronger deeper into the season, which in some ways I think could be a benefit to the Twins.
Yeah, that's a good point, keeping him fresh, because it gets to be a long year, and maybe you'll still get close to the 200 innings with him. I look at your job, you have a lot of things, but a big part of your job is trying to make sure that in more than one way, the Twins have a good brand. Last year probably brought a lot of that brand back, but that had to be a challenge for you and your folks in the marketing department for about 5 years or so. My gosh, it was tough to have that brand, and man, what a shot in the arm for last year.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Jim. Last year obviously was a good year. I think it reconnected our team with a lot of fans throughout the region who obviously want to see the Twins have success. When I think of the Twins brand, certainly the on-field product is at the center of it, but there's other things that impact it. I think every single day, the experience we deliver in our ballpark, the service we provide our fans, how we interact with the community, how we give back, how our players interact. I think all those things contribute to the brand as well. And win or lose, those things should never go into a slump. They should be there every year. They're the constant. So we're excited about having a good young team, a team that, in our mind, has got an opportunity to do special things. And we view our brand right now as very much ascending. And I think that 2018 should be a special year, but I'm excited for the next several years because I think we're in a period of sustained success.
I think most people would agree. And the Twins have a new slogan this year, right?
Yeah, we're talking about this is how we baseball, and you're going to see that in Target Field. You're going to see it on radio, or listen to it on radio. You're going to hear it on television. You'll see it via social media, and opportunity for us to do some fun things with that campaign.
Dave St. Peter, we appreciate it. I think we're all looking forward a lot to this coming year. Everything I see down here is certainly positive nature, and again, after Lynn got signed, it's like, wow, this is really good.
Yeah, I think people are fired up. I think they're excited. Cleveland at the top of our division is going to be a formidable foe, but I think we can surprise some people there, challenge them, and hopefully get back to October baseball, which is where we all want to be.
I always remember what Tom Kelly said after we won the World Series when Jack Morris was here, and of course Morris, he was a one-year pitcher, one-year contract, and he left. And Tom Kelly said, if we could have gone back to the start of the year and said, could we rent a pitcher for 1 year and it could get us a World Series, I think we'd say that was real good. Now, maybe we have these people for longer, of course, but this last additional Lynn, if that can help do what we want to do at the end of the year, what a great deal.
Yeah, sign me up for that. Well, we take that, right? Let's just hope that it's that storybook finish. So we like our club a lot. We're excited. I think our fan base is excited, and we're going to find out in the near future as we get cranked up in Baltimore and then for the home opener on April 5th.
Dave St. Peter, thank you for your time. Always fun talking to you and sharing the information with our fans also on the radio.
Well, thanks for coming down. We're grateful for the Inkstead radio properties and everybody across our radio network. You guys do a great job. We're thrilled you're here.
Dave St. Peter, along with Jim Bartles, a videographer, sometimes known as Ida Hull, other times known as my wife Connie. She's here as well. We're having a great time. That's it for now from Fort Myers.
Shout a hip hooray! Cheer for the Minnesota Twins too.